Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our first math test review. Hopefully everybody can hear me okay. If Lois is not feeling good, she's fighting off a cold and watching Godzilla in the next room. So if you hear a roar, that's not us getting frustrated or anything like that. It is just the TV. So let's go on and take a look at what we have in front of us. So the first thing I wanted to talk about is a review of what we talked about on Thursday, talking about these equations, because while I was pretty happy with the answers we were getting, when it came around the time to check every 5, not everybody is doing the steps. So I want to run through these one more time. And basically what I'm going to try to implore upon you today is that you need to have at least 3 horizontal lines. If you're tackling an equation with only one variable and one number on the same side of the equal sign, you should have 3 horizontal lines all at once. A line here, and then I'll show you what I need on the second line, and then the answer line. So remember the 2 steps: combine terms and isolate your variable. The equal sign is always your goalpost. You always look on either side of the equal sign. Do you have any terms that need combining on either side? Here I have one 2-digit number and a variable. On the right side I only have one 2-digit number, so I get to skip this step right now. I don't have to combine terms. I'm going to isolate the variable. Again, the variable is the letter. You always want to get the variable isolated. You want to get him by himself. So you circle everything that is not the letter and you kick it over to the other side. Then you go ahead and write down everything you didn't circle. I didn't circle M. I did not circle my equal sign. And I did not circle 71. But I did circle a 35 and a plus sign, right? And I kicked it over to this side, so now I kicked it so hard my plus sign broke into a minus. And now I can write my 35. That's what you should have on your second horizontal line. You only have 2.5 steps. Repeat if necessary is step 2.5. So I'm back up to combining terms. Do I have 2 numbers on the same side of my equal sign, my goalpost? On the left side, I only have my isolated variable, which is good for algebra. So I'm going to go ahead and underline 71 minus 35. I'm going to go ahead and write down everything that is not underlined. I did not underline M. I did not underline the equal sign. But I did underline 71 minus 35. So I don't want to write that down again. I just need to write down the answer. What is 71 minus 35? If you don't know, you can set it up on a scratch piece of paper or off to the side, but I don't want it to be part of the formal equation. Now, I'm not going to bore you with the subtraction algorithm here. I'm just going to go and do that work in my head because I know that M is equal to 36. And we said it before, a good way to check if you're not sure, put the number in place of the variable, in place of the letter to see if it makes sense. 35 plus 36 equals 71. Why, yes, it does. So M is equal to 36. So these are the 3 horizontal steps when I'm checking your work that I need to see. Let's do one more, and this time I will have some terms to combine right from the get-go. So I'm going to need 4 horizontal lines. So combine terms, right? Look to see if you have 2 numbers on the same side of the equal sign. Here I do 15 plus 13, right? So I'm going to underline it and rewrite. I don't want to write 15 plus 13 over again because I underlined it. I just want to write the answer. So I'm going to write 28. And then what did I not underline? I didn't underline the plus. I did not underline Q. I did not underline my equal sign, so I can go and write that down again. And I did not underline 51. But now I got to go to step 2, time to isolate my variable. The variable's always the letter. Isolate means you want to get it alone. They put you in solitary isolation. You get locked in a room all by yourself. You are isolated. So let's go and kick this over to the other side. And I kicked it so hard, my plus sign breaks. I change plus into a minus sign, right? And now I'm just going to go and rewrite everything I did not circle. I didn't circle Q. So on my third line down, I'm going to do another horizontal step. Q. I did not circle my equal sign. So I'm going to write in my equal sign. I did not circle 51. So I'm going to write in 51. But I did circle 28 and a plus sign, and I kicked them over to the other side, right? So let's take care of the plus sign. Kick plus so hard he changes into minus. He broke. And now I can write down my 28. Still not done. I need a fourth horizontal step. I need a fourth line down here. So what's my next step? Repeat if necessary. So I'm either going to combine terms or isolate my variable. Over here on the right hand side now, I have terms to combine. 51 minus 28, right? And if you need on a scratch piece of paper, that's where you go and do your work, or off in a corner of the square. But what I'm really going to be picky about is that I see all the lines here. So 51 minus 28, again, I'm not going to bore you with the subtraction algorithm. I just need you to know that I did not underline Q, so I'm going to write them in again here for my last step, right? I did not underline my equal sign, but I do have to combine my terms. I don't want to write down 51 minus 28 again. I am only going to write 23. And I will say it for hopefully the last time, but who are we kidding? I am glad we're getting the right answers, but our problems are going to get too hard that we have to follow these steps, and if you don't learn them, algebra is going to be too tough. You might as well make your peace with solving them step by step right now. That's what we're doing. Okay, so let's go on and take a look at what we have going on our test today. You might see some like this from back in lesson 1. Write the next 3 terms in each counting sequence. It doesn't say you got to write the rule, but in order to do it, you at least have to think about the rule, right? Are we counting up or counting down? The numbers are getting bigger, so we are counting up. Looks to me like we're counting up by 6s. So I'll continue with my next 3 terms. If I added 6 to 24, I'd have 30. If I added 6 more to that, I would have 36. And if I added a final 6 to that, I would have 42, right? I don't think I've seen too many people struggle with this for many, many, many days. So I'm pretty happy about what's going on there. Let's continue on and see what else we're going to have. Another one just like this, only this time my numbers are getting smaller, right? So it's a countdown sequence. Appears that I am counting down by sevens. So if 28 is my last term and I'm counting down by sevens, my next term would be 21. My term after that is going to be 14. And the last term in this sequence is going to be 7. Not too tough. Check out this one. What is the first digit in 794,823? And we read numbers left to right, correct? So if they want to know what the first digit is, that would be 7. How about if they wanted to know what the last digit is? Well, that would be 3, correct? Make sure you don't trip over the reading. Check out this one. If a whole number is not even, then what is it? All our numbers are either even or, hopefully you caught it, even or odd. So if a number is not even, it's got to be odd, correct? And you're going to need that knowledge for quite a few of these problems today. Check out this one. In the basket, there are an equal number of apples and oranges. Which of the following could not be the total number of apples and oranges in the basket? This ties into the previous question, and here is your clue. There's an equal number of both apples and oranges. Maybe it's 1 and 1. Maybe it's 15 and 15. Maybe it's 128 and 128. But whatever that number is, they have to be equal. Well, could you put 35 into 2 equal groups? No, you could not. Could you put 17 into 2 equal groups? No, you could not. The only one that could be done in 2 equal groups is my one even number here, right? Let's keep moving on. Check out this. In $483, which digit shows the number of tens? Well, if you don't remember that it's always ones, tens, hundreds going from left to right, write yourself out these 3 little lines, but normally 5th graders have this down by the first test. Which digit shows the number of tens? That would be the 8, correct? That's not too tough. Check out this one. Use digits to write the number for 9 hundreds plus 4 tens plus 6 ones. Each one of these is only a 1-digit number, right? A 9, a 4, and a 6. That's not always the case in problems like this, but if they are just 1-digit numbers, you can just go and plug them in. 9 in the 100 spot, 4 in the 10 spot, and 6 in the 1 spot. So to use digits to write that number, it is 946. Check out this one. How much is 9 hundreds and 2 tens? Every so often I get a kid who trips on this and he writes me a 9 and a 2 on the test. That shouldn't be it. We have 9 in the 100 spot. We have 2 in the 10 spot. But can I leave the 1 spot blank? No, I can't. I have to say 0 in the 1 spot. A 9, a 2, and a 0 is the answer we would need to answer this. 9 hundreds plus 2 tens makes up 920. Which number equals 10 hundreds? Well, we've counted by hundreds in class, right? So if you're not sure, you could figure this out. I mean, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900. What's after 900? 1,000, isn't it? What number would equal 10 hundreds? Just count to yourself. Not too tough, and I haven't seen too many people struggling on these. Check out this. Use words to name. And here I have a dollar sign and a 4, a 2, a 3, a decimal point, not a comma, a 9 and a 6, right? The big mistake I see with people naming these is they will just try to do it too fast and they make silly little mistakes because they don't have every word that we need. So remember, when you're naming money, look at either side of the decimal point. Let's take a look on the left side first. I have a 4, a 2, and a 3. How do I name him? 4, 2, 3. Why, that's 423, right? Then say dollars. The decimal point is pronounced and. Now, let's name the two digits on the right side. A 9 and a 6, that's 96. And now let's go ahead and say cents. The big mistakes I'm seeing are people who either forget the word cents or the word dollars. Remember on this one, use words to name, and here I have a 6, a 0, and an 8. This one is not a money problem, right? You are not going to say dollars. You're not going to say cents. Just name the number. And when you name numbers, you only say the word and if there's a decimal point. This is 608, not 608. You can't say and unless you have a decimal point. We might see some like this right now that I'm not too worried about. Write the comparison using digits, meaning using numbers, and a comparison symbol. So what do I have so far? 16. Well, what digits do I need to write 16? A 1 and a 6, right? Is less than 60. Now, some people might see that 60 and they'll jump right over to the right side. That's okay. But you should also get in the habit of knowing is less than is small on the left and opens up wide on the right. We're big kids. We always don't have to think that the crocodile's mouth opens up to the biggest number, right? 16 is less than 60. Check out this one. Use digits to write $519 and 75 cents. So I know it's a money problem. So let's start with our dollar sign so we don't forget that. What do I have first? 519. How do I write that? What digits do I need? I should have a 5 in my hundreds, a 1 in my tens, and 9 ones. There is $519. And so let's make a decimal point, not a comma. I see a couple of people who have done that. Now, 75 cents. What digits do I need to make 75 cents? A 7 and a 5, correct? $519 and 75 cents. Use digits to write 629. There is no and anywhere in this number, right? So there should be no decimal points. So a 6 in my 100 spot, 2 in my 10 spot, and a 9 in my 1 spot. There is 629. All in the no names group, so you don't have to say anything after them. And that is the end. When you're all done, I will tell you what I want you working on after the test. Make sure to double check your answers. There are only 20 problems, and tests are weighted 3 times heavier than a daily assignment. Don't go and put up a bad test grade just because you thought you could get a blue ribbon for finishing first. It's not about who finishes as first, it's who does their best. Okay, good.